Today I'm here with Coach Chambers from the Fannin County Rebels. Coach, I was going to ask you about how the game went Friday night.
Well, we lost the game. We lost 22-0. But there were a lot of points in there, that we did feel good about. We felt defensively we played as good as we've played probably in a year. Probably since the West Hall game. I felt like our coaches had a good plan for that. The effort was there all night, but part of the game, turnovers. They made some big plays in special teams with a blocked punt. They ran a kickoff return back for a touchdown, and we had too many turnovers in the red zone. And give them credit. That's part of the game, and they capitalized on that, and we didn't. But we feel like that we improved a great deal from the scrimmage. We feel like that we've got better days ahead with this football team.
You said something there about the special teams. How did the protection break down on that punt?
Well, it wasn't so much a protection issue. We were the punt got into the punter's chest, and that basically created a slow kick. And then we had a little bit of our personal protector. We've coached him a little bit up. You want to go after that guy, and you want to go get him. But probably the biggest issue, it was a good snap. Protection overall was good, but when the ball gets into the chest of the punter, it really kind of slows things down, throws the timing off, and
right.
And give them credit. They were right there, made a good play on the ball, and that led to a score.
I know coming up against Gilmer, you faced Tyler Bartonelli, who is a great running back. How did you feel holding him only under 70 yards?
Yeah, we felt really good. I told the kids, after the game, then when we watched film, over the weekend, I said, you guys, the defense kept us in it all night. They did a really good job, especially when we had a muffed punt, and the defense held right there. But it gives those guys confidence. We gave up a lot of points on defense last year. We spent a lot of time in the off season, working on defense, getting that edge, setting the edge, and at the point of attack. It's just a big thing we talk about. I was proud of the way defense played.
A name you heard called a lot on Friday was Johnny Flakes. He didn't play last year. Was that a big surprise?
No, I don't know Johnny personally, but I know, I've kind of followed the wrestling scene around here, and I know that he has done a great job wrestling. And Johnny played in the game a couple of years ago here, and I believe he had a good game then as well. But no, we knew about him, and he made some good plays for them, and but we were aware of him. Yeah.
All right, going over to offense now. This year you're running the spread attack more than you are the triple option.
Yeah. Well, I've worked under all types of offenses. We've been in the I here before. We've been in the wing T. We felt I've always been, I guess, the roots, being a kind of a wishbone guy, run the ball first kind of guy. But the big thing is sometimes you have to look at your personnel, and you have to look at your kids and see what suits us best. One thing that we need to be able to do out of the spread is we've got to run the ball better. Gilmer did a nice job stopping our run. They did a nice job with their front, controlling our front. So it was just really looking at our strengths of our team offensively, who our playmakers were, and trying to spread teams out and play fast. And I felt we were able to do that. We spent a lot of time this summer, in the off season getting in shape to be able to do this type of offense. The negative part of it is if you don't move the ball, or if you go 3 and out, a lot of your same kids have to flip around and play defense.
Is that one of the big reasons Noah O'Neal has moved from tight end to wide receiver this year?
Yeah. And we looked. He played some tight end the other night, but yeah, the big thing for us is we really want to leave Noah out on the outside. you know, they're going to find him, but you know, that's going to open up some opportunities for other people. And it did the other night. It's just, you know, penalties and turnovers, you know, hurt us. And as coaches, that's things we have to go in and correct. You know, we've got to, you know, work on, you know, maintaining the ball, especially near the goal line. We've got to make sure our quarterbacks understand we don't want to throw tight coverage. We want to throw it away and live to play another day. But, well, yeah.
Speaking of penalties, did you think you did pretty well for your first game?
I think so. I think there were a lot of penalties on both sides of the ball. You know, there were a few penalties in particular that I wish would not have been called.
Right.
And I'm sure, you know, Coach Tankersley's the same way. I'm sure there's some in there with him as well that he saw. I thought there were just a lot of things for the first game, you know, procedure penalties, being offsides, things of that nature that are pretty typical of the first game. But there were a lot of penalties, you know, on both sides of the ball. Some of ours came at critical times for us that I felt like. But, you know, we got to go in, correct that, coach it up, and not let it happen next time.
One of the penalties I was going to ask you about is the helmet-to-helmet contact and the personal penalties. What's your feel on that, and do you think that call was?
Yeah, it was, you know, if I'm an official, it's a bang-bang call, you know, and it happens so fast. You're talking about the one on our sideline. It was, I don't think, you know, our kid that was part of that penalty, he's, you know, he plays hard, but I don't think he actually knew that the ball was out of bounds. You know, our scheme there, he's seeking out the man that he's supposed to kind of kick out right there. And it was a close call, and I think, you know, with all the emphasis these days on the helmet-to-helmet, I think it was probably a good call.
Union County is coming up this week. What is your plans for them?
Well, try to slow them down. You know, they're a spread team. You know, they run an odd man front. You know, they're 3-4 or 50, whatever you want to call it. I think they want to, you know, they run it out of a 3-4 look. But you know, we've got to. I think the big thing with them is we need to control their run. You know, we've scouted them and looked at them on film, but make sure our secondary coverages are where they need to be. Make sure we're communicating. But they're pretty balanced with the run and the pass, even though they're a spread team. And you know, they've done a nice job in their scrimmage and in their first game against Towns of establishing the run, which really opened up some big plays for them in the passing game.
Well, we hope it's going to turn out to be a good game. One more question is, how do you see the depth of this year's team comparatively to years past?
Yeah, you know, probably Friday night, I wish we would have subbed a few more kids in, but overall our depth is better overall. You know, there are some areas where we are thin, but overall as a team we do have more depth. We just have to keep coming to work every day, keep chopping wood, and get better.
All right, well, thank you very much, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
All right, thanks.